One. I'm Mandy Bolter, Chair of the Kent County Board of Commissioners, and I'm so honored that my good friend, Mayor Rosalynn Bliss, invited me to kick things off today with some reflections of 2020 and an optimistic outlook for 2021. On behalf of the Kent County Board of Commissioners, I want to thank Mayor Bliss, City Manager Washington, and our partners at the City of Grand Rapids for their collaboration and leadership, as together we met the challenges of 2020 and look forward to a hopeful and prosperous 2021. There can be no doubt 2020 presented a challenge, but it also presented the opportunity for our community to rise to that challenge, and we did together. Challenges can bring out the best in people. In Grand Rapids and more broadly in Kent County, we drew on our history of collaboration to meet the unrelenting demands of the past 12 months. Collaboration is key, and it's what sets us apart. During these challenging times when division, partisanship, and hostility dominate the day, I believe that the people of Kent County, all of Kent County, can be the example for the rest of the country. We can be the example of civility, inclusion, respect, and action. We can have discourse without violence and disagreement without hatred. Our history of working together, of collaboration, is and remains critical to the health and well-being of our residents, and it will be the key component in Kent County's economic recovery. Let me give you a few examples of how we've come together through this crisis. It became clear last spring that people experiencing homelessness were uniquely vulnerable in this pandemic. Those who tested positive had to isolate in a safe environment. But how do you do that when you don't have a home? Area shelters were stretched to their limits. So the City of Grand Rapids and Kent County partnered with Holland Home to open the Fulton Care Center. The program offered transportation, safe housing, food services from the Salvation Army, and health monitoring for people who had tested positive or were awaiting test results. It was an important strategy in minimizing community transmission of the virus, and it was made possible through an innovative public-private partnership, a hallmark of this community. More broadly, in 2020, Kent County distributed $34.2 million in federal CARES funding to small businesses. 60% of those were here in Grand Rapids. The effort included a partnership with the Grand Rapids Area Chamber of Commerce, and we pulled together to spread the word, saving jobs right here in our community. Similarly, 56% of the nearly $3 million in CARES funding went to Grand Rapids schools. In addition to business, school, and housing funding, our county commission listened to the people of Grand Rapids and your leaders and shared county CARES funding for internet hotspots, public safety, crime prevention, and local nonprofit assistance, as well as provided free PPE packs to businesses and organizations in an effort to get them back to work at a time when PPE was scarce. All of these programs benefited the people of Grand Rapids. Finally, let's get beyond COVID relief. I'd like to highlight another vital partnership that predates the pandemic, our work to address and mitigate the threat of lead in homes. The City of Grand Rapids and Kent County, by virtue of our county health department, have partnered on lead abatement since 2016. However, 1 year ago, Mayor Bliss and I announced that we would co-chair a new lead action team, action being the operative word, focused on ending child lead exposure in Grand Rapids and throughout the county. Our team didn't let COVID-19 stop this important work. In 2020 alone, we initiated or completed investigations at 161 properties, completed nearly 60 site visits and health screenings, and cleared 39 homes of lead. This partnership underscores the fact that the city and the county could not and did not simply shut down other vital services because we were battling a pandemic, as it hosts the critical operation of vaccinating the people of our community. This effort will help us get back to health and allow us to both literally and figuratively open the doors to our future prosperity. A strong Grand Rapids is a strong Kent County. And now to tell you more, please welcome our wonderful Mayor of Grand Rapids, Rosalynn Bliss.
Good afternoon, Grand Rapids. I want to thank my colleague and good friend, Kent County Board of Commissioners Chair Bolter, for being a part of today, but also for her incredible leadership at the county. And thank you to our sponsors who have helped make this event possible. Normally, right now, I would be saying good evening, and we would all be gathered together in one of our iconic places, connecting with friends and colleagues and neighbors. But I don't need to remind anyone that things are not normal right now. We are coming to you today from a space that symbolizes both the exciting future that we spoke about at last year's State of the City and the sobering moment that we are navigating through. The listening room at Studio Park, like so many of our arts and cultural venues, has been dark for almost a year. Hopefully, it won't be much longer before these seats are filled the way that they once were. These aren't typical times. And while I can't see you, I am grateful that we can gather virtually to reflect on the past year and talk about our year ahead. Yes, this is a season of adversity, but it's also a season of opportunity. Opportunity to demonstrate the strength and resilience that is in our blood as Grand Rapidians. Opportunity to take this moment as a call not just to elevate our momentum, but to do it in a way that is more just and equitable, so that Grand Rapids is a place where everyone is cared for and thriving. This past year has demonstrated the grace, compassion, and